Welcome everyone. My name is Rick Hoebée. I'm CTO and co-owner of TravelEssence, and we sell tailor-made holidays to Australia and New Zealand. And we do that also in our other brands with Little America towards the US and Canada. And we distinct ourselves because we're really selling small-scale accommodations, so off the beaten track, away from the mass tourism, and that we try to automate. If you book with us, we basically arrange your entire itinerary from flights, rental car, accommodations, activity, and so on. And we'll make sure that if something's happened on the long, that we are there to make sure that you can enjoy your holiday while we solve your problems. Over the last 6 years, we have been transitioning from a traditional tour operator into a travel tech company. And we have done that by really replacing all our back-end systems and also client-facing systems. We do that on top of the Outsystems platform, and it has proven already to be very successful. So over the last 2 years, we started to run various AI projects, and today I'm going to tell a little bit about our Dream Machine. It's an AI itinerary builder, and the lessons learned that we had from that. The font is a bit off, but you can still read it. To tell about the Dream Machine, you need to know a little bit how we sell our itinerary. So clients would find us on the internet via social media or mouth-to-mouth advertisement, and then would join one of our presentations in an office or online. And there they will learn about the product, our philosophy, and how we work. And if they're still interested after that, they will make an appointment with a travel advisor, and this appointment will be at our office or at home. And we tell much, of course, about the itineraries that the journeys that we organize. But most important is that we really capture the wishes of the client. We put that in the wish collector, as we call that. And getting to know the client in that conversation is one of the most important things for us, because we know our product, but to be able to really make a tailor-made holiday, we really need to understand you as a client. After this, the travel advisor would go back to the office and he start building the itinerary, and that's basically where our Dream Machine comes in. So the problem that we wanted to solve is we analyzed a lot of the itineraries that we built over the last 20 years. And we learned actually that our travel advisors are actually human, meaning that they fall into patterns and are sometimes doing more repetitive than we want it to be. And then you can really wonder how personal are these itineraries and how can we improve that. Not all the clients might be interested in the extensive butler service that we offer. People nowadays want to do more online or in their free time, but they still value the products and the curated offering that we have in there. So we want to solve that problem as well. And then finally, if you really work with small scale accommodations that we do, it's quite hard to make a sample itinerary and sell that many times. That doesn't scale. So the Dream Machine is going to help us to scale up this kind of propositions. So the Dream Machine, we built that on top of Outsystems with Outsystems Agent Workbench. And it's capable of converting those client wishes that we collect into a bookable holiday. And with this, we're changing the process. So normally a travel advisor would really build up line by line by line. But now the Dream Machine is making a draft itinerary. But after this, the travel advisor is fully able to change the itinerary to its needs. So if he has been speaking about specific lodge and it's not selected by the AI, he can still fully change that. And also we will be able to convert the sample itineraries based on your wishes and based on the date that you want to travel into a bookable holiday using the Dream Machine. This way, it's more efficient. It takes less time to build the itinerary, but even more important, the objectivity of AI is actually taking care of that human, or removing a little bit of the human behavior and really look non-biased to the client wishes. So off we go. This was the plan. So we grabbed all our products and the client wishes, and we threw that all together in a big LLM, and we say, go generate the perfect dream holiday. But that didn't really work at all. One thing that we learned is that AI is not good in multitasking at all. And the other thing is, because it was such a big solution, that it didn't have all the knowledge, so it started to fill in the gaps himself, and it started to hallucinate. And yeah, it's not so nice to send people on holiday to a non-existing place. So we went back to the drawing table with this, and we really analyzed the process of a travel advisor building up this itinerary step by step by step. And we figured out that we actually would need 50 small agents talking to each other to be able to do this in a better way. And each of these agents is highly specialized in a specific task, and I will show you a bit in the next slide. And another important thing is that we also learned that traditional software is not bad, but there where traditional software is not capable of managing all the different options and complex scenarios, that's where the reasoning part of AI is very powerful. So we actually now have most of our agents is really a hybrid solution with traditional software and AI combined. An AI is not a tool on its own. So what is our model? It's a simplified, but basically we talk as humans to the sales director saying, hey, build this itinerary for me. And he then has the digital itinerary composer, which is actually the project manager of building the itinerary. And he has its own team of agents to do very specific tasks. So we have, for example, special agents that are very good in finding the best accommodation in a specific region. So for other regions, we duplicate this agent, but by narrowing it down in a region, we send less data to the LM, and we are actually getting way better results out of this. And we like to even communicate really back and forward to the agents. So the reasoning that an agent takes to decide to go for this accommodation or another one is actually being captured and fed back into the system. Then we do that the same for activities, rental cars, flights, and so on. But then we go to the quality assurance agent, and that's the agent that's actually responsible for the quality of the itinerary, and it has its own set of agents. So we have Lottie, which is the live availability checker, who can constantly check if everything in the itinerary is still available. So even when clients need to think a couple of days to decide if they want to book with us, when they come back, Lottie will check if it's still available. If not, he can actually flag that and then send back to the model saying, hey, this is not available. And we will change that into something else that is similar to client wishes and still available. Then we have Diggy. And Diggy is our archaeologist who really looks into historical patterns and flags if there's anomalies in the data that's being produced. So also to safeguard against the hallucination. The wish weaver is going in the end of the building process, going to check all those wishes from the client and check that against the result that's produced. So we, for example, ask in our interview with clients, is it okay to go to drive 4 hours between accommodations? And if it's one time 7 hours, is that okay? Yeah, as long as it's one time, that's fine. But the accommodation agent, who's really in a unit, might not realize that other line items were already having that 7-hour drive. So the wish weaver in the end is able to detect, okay, we have multiple times 7-hour drive. That's not what the client desired. So we go back and we basically repair it before the first itinerary is being served back to the user. Then we have Sensei, again, a very highly specialized agent who is really responsible for the operations in the entire itinerary. So if we book the first ferry, but your accommodation is 3-hour drive and you need to get up at 7, you would not enjoy your holiday, right? So he is really checking these kind of connectivity between the different booking and line items. And then finally, we learned in 20 years of selling itineraries to Australia and New Zealand, we know what an itinerary in New Zealand or in Australia and the US and Canada makes a good holiday. And these small things we write down in a verbal way. For example, we always travel in New Zealand from south to north because you end up with good weather. And that's in that database, and that secret agent is able to check these specific rules in these specific regions, depending where we go. And also intervene in case it's not being respected. And it's also very easy to add new rules to it. If we see new problems occurring, we just write it down, put it in the database, and the LLM will actually start using and judging based on those rules. This is a quick view on how the user is actually able to follow the communication between those agents. So we like to see the reasoning of what's going on so we understand it. The impact that we already see, although we're still building on this solution, we see that we do about 70% faster of itinerary building because we build that draft itinerary and then the travel advisors start working on it. But the second part I find even more important because with the AI looking over the shoulder of the travel advisor, the quality and the really tailor-made part of it is the quality is really improving on the overall itineraries. And for us, of course, as a growing company, to be able to also start doing revenue via online sales, but still with small-scale accommodation, a very specific business model, that's for us very interesting to keep growing. And finally, the Outsystems Agent Workbench was really helping us to take care about a lot of the base plumbing and to be able to connect to your core system, not only to the data, but also to the traditional software that you already built up with Outsystems, helped us to really develop these kind of models quite fast. And it saves us a lot of headache about building up the factorization in the back and things like that. So finally, the lessons learned. So when I started with AI 2 years ago, my view on AI, and probably a lot of you here in the audience might recognize that, is what's changing every week, every month. I thought, oh, this is how to deal with AI, but it was not because it kept changing all the time. So starting small and moving fast is really the way forward to really start learning how AI can work for you or for a company. And like I said, AI, it's just an additional tool. It's not a goal on its own, but there are specific things like the reasoning things that's so powerful, but the combination with traditional software is definitely something, a path that we will continue to work on. And the specialized agents, if you really break it down to a small agent, you can check the input, you can check the output. So you can even, if it's not performing, you can swap it out for another one. And sometimes we even see, okay, let's try a slightly different way. So we can almost do A/B testing because we have small agents and they are replaceable. And that seems to be a very productive way of building up this very complex way of building itineraries of 30 days with all the components in it. So I want to thank you. If you are interested in Outsystems, they have a booth here at booth 6. So that's the middle QR code. If you're inspired by going to New Zealand in a total different way, then please take the TravelEssence one. And our latest model, the Little America, is same philosophy towards the US and Canada. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation.